Okay, so I do hope you have answered from questions 1 to 4. Okay, so we have spoken about the answers for this have already been discussed in our previous 2 videos. Okay, so I hope you were able to answer these. Okay, moving on to our next part is where we talk about methods used to secure data and personal information online. So up to now we have been learning about the risks that our data faces. Now what we are going to look at is how can we protect our data? What methods can be used to protect our data from the risks that we just learned? Okay, so first you can use something which we called a firewall. Okay, so basically what a firewall does, a firewall is mostly a software. Okay, just look at this diagram over here. It checks the data that enters the network. Okay, so basically a firewall will be checking whatever data comes in and whatever data goes out. So in your computer, you can have a firewall software and you can put rules for it. So you can tell the firewall, for example, allow only this kind of data to enter, allow only this kind of data to exit. The remaining data will be completely blocked from entering the network. Okay. So if you look at, it controls the data traveling into and out of a network. It examines the network addresses and ports and all that. And then compares those to a list of rules that can be changed by network administrators. So network administrators can create a list of rules. This type of data should always be blocked. This type of data can be allowed into the network. Okay. So the list of rules determine what traffic should be allowed to travel in and out of the network. In this way, firewalls can prevent unauthorized access. So if anyone tries to break into your network, generally the firewall will immediately block that from happening. Okay. So the main reason to use a firewall is it prevents unauthorized access to a network and protects the network from malware. So any kind of suspicious program that tries to enter your network, immediately the firewall is going to be blocking it out. Okay. Then your next method to secure your data is using encryption. So in chapter number 5, we learned of 2 types of encryptions. We learned of symmetric encryption and public encryption. So we do know what encryption does. Encryption is basically scrambling your data into an unreadable form. When the data is going from one computer to another computer, while transmitting, it changes into an unreadable form. Okay. Once it reaches its destination computer only, it becomes readable or it becomes decrypted. Okay. So while going from one computer to another computer, in the middle, if a hacker gets hold of the data, he simply would not understand the data. Okay. So we did learn in chapter number 5, we have 2 types of encryption. One is symmetric key encryption and the other one is public key encryption. And you'll all know that symmetric key encryption is much more secure than public key encryption is much more secure than symmetric key encryption. Okay. So this is another method you can use to protect your data. Okay. So if anyone gets hold of your data and if you have encrypted that data, there is no way they're going to be able to read it unless they have the decryption key. Then moving on to another thing that you can do is, another method that you can use to secure your data is you can put a password or you can put a PIN or you can put biometrics. So all of you all, if you are using an email account, your email account will be having a password. If the user does not know the password, he can't use your email account. Maybe some of you all will be having mobile phones. In your mobile phones, you will be using biometrics such as face recognition, iris, retina, finger, thumb. Okay, you'll be using various biometrics so that if anybody wants to use a device, they have to put the correct biometric, then the device gets unlocked. Okay. If you're using a password, always make sure that your password is following these features. Okay. In order to make sure that your password is strong enough, it should be following these features. Okay. Then something else you can do is you can do something which we called a CAPTCHA test. Okay. So it's a long word, but basically what we use a CAPTCHA test is, a CAPTCHA test is used on a website to make sure that a robot is not using it, to make sure that an automated software is not using it. Okay. So basically this test is to make sure that the human is using the website or the human is using a system. Is it clear? Sometimes what happens is a hacker can write a program that will go to a website and create 1 million accounts. Okay. So to prevent that from happening, we have to do a CAPTCHA test. So obviously a robot or a computer software cannot do this test. So the moment this test appears, the computer software or the computer robot is going to get stuck. It's not able to continue. Okay. This can only be solved by a human. Okay. So The main reason that this test is there, we call it a CAPTCHA test, is to make sure that the person using the computer is a human, not a automated software or a robot. Okay. Then something else that you can do is you can use something which we call anti-malware. So anti-malware will basically protect your computer from malware. Okay, any program that tries to enter your computer and cause any harm to your computer, if you have a strong anti-malware software, it will prevent that malware from running in your computer. Okay, it scans computer files in real time and allows users to scan files, folders, disks, or whole system. Now, anti-malware and antivirus are almost very much the same. Okay, so antivirus software, it checks for viruses. Okay, so you know, viruses spread mostly through the internet, spread through USB drives. Okay, so you plug in a USB drive into a virus affected computer and then you remove that USB and plug into your computer, viruses are going to flow into your computer as well. Okay, so if you have a strong antivirus software, what does the antivirus software do? It scans your computer, it checks for any virus. When it comes across a virus, do you know what it does? It quarantines the virus. Quarantines the virus means what? It isolates, it takes the virus away from the other files and keeps it alone. And then what does it do? It asks you for permission to delete it. So only when you give permission to delete it, then the antivirus software is going to delete this file. Until that, the file is only going to be quarantined. Okay. So one more thing that you need to keep in mind is that your antivirus software has to be updated regularly. You have to regularly update your antivirus software so that it will know how to deal with new viruses, because almost every day new viruses are coming out. Okay, so your antivirus software has something which we call a virus database, and this virus database has to be updated on a regular basis so that your antivirus software will know how to work with new viruses. Okay, so let's take a short break from here and let's start doing a few questions. You can start doing questions 5 to question number 10. Okay, you can do from question number 5 to question number 10. The next part of this will continue, the next slide, which is anti-adware and anti-spyware, will continue from the next video.